All right, here with Salem head football coach Marcus Johnson-Williams, in year 2 at the helm. He's rocking the city on my chest hat, and he's also a meteorologist here at the Portsmouth Parks and Rec team camp as the storm coming is going to shorten tonight's activities. But coach, after year 1, give me your quick assessment of the program. I thought you guys were really one of the neat surprise stories of the year, given you had some injuries. You had a freshman at tailback at the beginning of the year. You had a freshman playing quarterback at the end of the year. I think we're talking about Rayvon Moore at tailback and Jason Scooter Williams for at QB, and a lot of other key parts, both sides of the ball, step up for you as you made the regional semifinals.
Oh, that is correct. Those young guys have stepped in, and that was the whole goal, was those guys come in and actually improve each week, and I'm excited about them. They got a year of that varsity experience. We're doing things like this to see where we are and hopefully get better.
Before we get to some more names that stand out for you, including one who's one of the nation's most sought-after prospects in the class of 2025, which we've talked about before, but what do you get out of this? The competition's one thing, but certainly not everybody's got the luxury of having too deep, and you're trying to find guys, I guess, what strengths and weaknesses, what they can do, what they got to get better at, basically? Or
that is correct. You know, one of the biggest things is developing your depth. Building that whole middle part of your roster, elevate them, and these are type of the opportunities you get. And you want to take those type of opportunities and make them, make those young people feel good about what they're doing, so they can pay dividends, and support the entire team. You want contributors. Man.
Sure. And as you know, football's played and won in the trenches on the offensive and defensive line. And as you build that quantity, you have some nice quality. Beginning with Ari Watford, 2025 stud, who's got probably 30 offers at this point. Jaylen Gilchrist, an offensive lineman. People come out here, they say, "Oh my goodness, he's massive." And then a guy that's an underrated player in Grant Gaffney. Tell me about what you see out of each of those. 2 are already big-time recruits, and one who's really underrated, I think, in Gaffney's case.
Well, I'll start with Ari. I mean, everyone, let's say, he's a national recruit, exceptional. I think he's gonna have a really, really breakout year. Only played 2 games this whole off season. He's on bent in his mind, unfinished business. Jaylen, is a young man. Plays. I think he's going to be an elite offensive tackle. And he's just working on his craft.
He's 6'5", right?
He's 6'5", 275, great young man. And then, he's learning how to go from good to great to, at that point, try to be elite. But I'm really, this young man, Grant Gaffney, under the radar kid, I'm excited about him because the sky's the limit. Very active at whatever technique that he plays. And I really believe that whoever's going to attempt to recruit this prospect, he's going to actually do some great things. And we also have another young man. He's like 6'3". That's DeJuan Skinner.
Okay.
He plays inside and outside. Defensive tackle. Plays left tackle. So we have some great young guys, great guys that within our areas on the trenches that are very versatile. So I'm excited to see that.
Well, and as you build it beyond the trenches, it feels like you hate to just pigeonhole 3 or 4 names, because last year this time you were kind of learning about other names. You had about 3 or 4 guys that stood out. It feels like you've got a lot of different guys that can step up at a given moment. Case in point, we've seen Emmanuel Taylor do it for you throughout some of the offseason events.
Yes.
Amari Williams, a young man who's a multi-sport guy, he seems to be in my camera shot every time because he's making a play on either side of the ball for you.
That is correct. One of the big things at Salem is that we try to say that, hey, we want to be a true athlete, and we want to be versatile. So I challenge the young men to play 2 positions. Amari's one of those guys who plays basketball, and he's a team leader. He's actually a captain on in football. Then you have like I said, Emmanuel Taylor, both sides of the ball. I also don't throw this in. You have another guy, 2025, is Fabian Wells.
Yeah.
He plays strong safety, and so he also plays like slot receiver. He plays in the backfield. So he's a great little athlete. So we try to tag names. The word athlete to the guys, and then on top of that, I can't be remiss not talking about Jaylen Mitchell. Who you haven't seen out here today. But he's a versatile guy as well.
Well,
he
has 2
that,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about him for another day. I mean,
sure.
Lastly,
that 2025 class is mighty good for you, so they better try to get you now. But not to say you don't have the players in 23 and 24 that can make a splash, because you can, obviously.
Yeah.
But everybody's talking about in the beats that marquee game of Green Run Kempsville. It was a pretty darn big game in week 1 for your squad. You and Bayside's a pretty interesting game. 2 teams that have been in the playoffs before. I know you and John White expected making noise in that district. Beyond just the heavyweights and the favorites, people are eyeing in Green Run and Kempsville.
Yeah, I mean, John White's well-coached team, quality staff, great program. Both him and I had the opportunity to be around, Donnell. So I look at that as being one of those things where it's going to be a great first game of the season. Want everybody to come out and see it. And we get to go back to Bayside. So
could be a playoff preview. Sun Devils have
That's
some high
correct.
hopes for this coming year. Marcus Johnson Williams, thank you so much. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My man.
Easy.